Hello, friends. It is Caparzo again with the King's Royal Rival Corps, and today we are bringing you the capstone to Season 1 of the People's League. Again, we join the People's League champion, 7th Legion, as they take on the 21st Army Group, who have won their respective league, Summit. As the winners of their two respective leagues, the winner can comfortably call themselves the top team of competitive play on Hell Let Loose console. Season 2 matches are beginning this weekend, so we'll be back into the thick of it with KRC and the Tough Hombres in a match breakdown coming this week. Before we kick off here, I just want to give a huge thanks to all of our streamers: Mini Fiji, Francis, Six Eye Sasquatch, General Marsh, and Thunder. Links to all their channels and socials are in the description. I really hope you all enjoy the special final stream between these two league champions. With that, Tritium, take it away.
We certainly have an exciting one for you today, folks. We have a friendly matchup between the 7th Legion, who are the TPL Season 1 champions, and the 21st Army Group, who are the Summit champions. Both teams are heavy hitters in their respective circles, so we're excited to see how this turns out. I'm Tritium, and I'll be in the background handling the production side of the stream today. With me are Caparzo, our play-by-play commentator, and Easy, our color commentator. Caparzo, can you introduce us to the map?
Hey Tritium, thanks so much for that introduction there. Yes, as you mentioned, these two teams are currently the best console Hell Let Loose clans, and I can't tell you how excited I am for this match here. Looks like we're going to be starting off here with Purple Heart Lane, Foy Warfare at night, and the middle point will be to the right side, and that would be Dugout Barn. So certainly excited to see what these two teams have cooked up off the bat here. Easy, you caught up with these two teams this week earlier. What did they have to tell you as far as their preparations?
Yeah, so I had a conversation with a couple of guys from both sides. You know, we've got 7th coming hot off there, winning the finals of TPL, and 21st, who recently found themselves at the top of the Summit tournament. I think both teams have come into this game pretty well prepared, keeping in mind that they're against some of the best players that console side of Hell Let Loose has to offer. You know, they're taking things about as seriously as they could. 7th mentioned that they give it 100% effort in every single match. It's pretty much a mark of respect for their opponents, and despite winning the final, they still talked internally in some depth about how they plan to sort of get even better. Each loss is a learning experience at the end of the day, and 21st certainly don't underestimate their opponent. They know that the 7th is a strong, cohesive and adaptable team that likes to control the map, really likes to get in their opponent's face, and I don't think anyone's taking anything for granted out here, so we're really excited to see how this pans out.
Yeah, certainly easy. At this level of competition, you can't afford to take any opponent lightly. And these two teams have certainly been trying to plan a match for some time, and it's great to see it finally unfold. I know both teams dealt with a lot of burns here, so it'll be interesting to see how fatigue may play a factor in the match. But I'm not imagining that'll be the case. As you mentioned, these two teams are the best at what they do, and it's going to be a pleasure to watch them go to work.
100%, and we can already see 7th here getting a couple of arbitrary node defensive setups going, a little bit of barbed wire, try and set up those nodes, make sure they're defending them as best as possible. I think stockpile of fuel and taking care of tanks is going to be a really important focus for this match, with Foy being as open as it is. I think the team that can control the armor situation and put the most tanks out on the field and keep them protected by their infantry are probably going to see a huge benefit on this one. I think both sides are going to probably put a lot of emphasis on, you know, a little bit of infantry armor cohesion. And we can already see here we've got a recon tank from 7th coming up, blasting up alongside one of the transport trucks. If we want to switch over to Marsh's view from the tank commander over here.
Lambda, Lob's trying to get back.
So yeah, it looks like we can see Marsh here heading up. I think this is the recon tank.
Looks like Marsh is in the medium, while we have Thunder in the recon tanks to start off. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so that medium rolling up into Dugout Barn is going to be a big part of being able to get this point early on.
He's talking.
All right, you have to be my
You can see these guys
radio
already
now.
looking out for the enemy armor, really trying to spot them as soon as they can. I think if anyone can land a lucky hit on one of these transport trucks, it's going to strike a pretty strong blow to the enemies. You can already see here, I think the cap is already starting to switch over a tiny little bit, or at least it's going to in a couple of moments. I think getting up those blue zone garrisons just on the south side is going to be a big focus for the 7th. Make sure that that fight for the middle is going to be fought as well as it can be. As soon as you start losing people, you really need to start reinforcing. And you can already see we've got some outposts up here. As 7th look to try and strike the first blow.
Yeah, you mentioned it with blue zone garrisons here. If you bring up the strat sketch here, very briefly here, Tritium, we're looking at Dugout Barn, and if we just look at the sectors here, 21st has a lot more options as far as being able to build garrisons very close to the point. We have locations here and here, extremely close. Meanwhile, 7th is quite a distance away in their sector. So with that, it's going to be interesting to see if either team has trouble sustaining the push from those garrisons, or if the OPs are able to sustain plenty on their own. Maybe we take a look here at Francis's point of view. Looks like he's an infantryman on the point. And looks like there's a 3-2 cap. Let's tune into him for a moment here.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got Francis here on the south side of the barn, picking out on a couple of corners here, taking a few people out, really making use of that carbine at close range, and he gets taken out really quickly there. He's going to get himself back in the action as quick as possible. I think what you're going to see from a lot of these players is as soon as they die, they're going to smack up the spawn screen and really try and hit that redeploy button as quick as possible, because it's faster than them holding down the button to skip the revive phase. You know, these are the kind of teams who are really squeezing out as much as they can out of processes and trying to get themselves back in the action as quick as possible.
Exactly. It looks like Francis actually might be headed back to HQ, maybe assist with some node building. Why don't we take a look here at Sass, who actually goes down as well with the commentator's curse. So maybe we pull up Marsh's point of view here, who is back in the tank.
Come on, S. PZ4 one shot.
Yeah, it looks like Marsh is keeping an eye out. I think he's very close to the southwest side of the point right now. I think they're really just looking out for that enemy armor as it comes in. I'm not sure if they've managed to take out any mediums yet, but you can see those artillery splashes are just popping up all over the point there. Looks like 21st are really trying to knock out some of that infantry, but as we can see here, 7th have taken the initiative. They've taken the midpoint, and you know, at this point, 21st are going to start asking themselves the million-dollar question of how we're going to retake this point. It's never easy. You know, these guys are going to have to set up a garrison network and really try and coordinate this armor and infantry approach. I think one thing that set 7th apart recently is their ability to combine infantry with armor, and if 21st can't do that, they're going to find that this is an uphill battle.
Yeah, on Foy it matters even more. The tank is honed in on the tracks over there. Looks like there's a good amount of infantry pings by the 7th on the map. Looks like they're most likely built that garrison right on the railway at that house. A bit of an obvious spot, but on Foy, your options are pretty limited. So you're kind of your hand is forced when it comes to garrison building. But they are pushing out.
Yeah, looks like the tank here has spotted the enemy Panzer IV and knocked it out there on the northeastern side. It's a really good shot there, and we can see here the Stuart and the Sherman are working in tandem. You can see there the Sherman push forward, the Stuart's going ahead. Hopefully, I'm assuming looking to soak up that first shot from any enemy armor that might appear, but at this stage, you lose that gimme medium. You're going to start hoping that 21st are going to bring a heavy up into the field, otherwise 7th are going to establish some armor superiority really quickly, and that's going to be a problem. You can see that they are immediately capitalizing on the fact that they've taken this middle point, showing no mercy, really just pushing out into this open ground, and already you can see that the armor is starting to rip into the infantry there, and 7th I think is going to really start putting the pressure on 21st here, and if they can't respond to this, then it's going to be a quick game indeed.
A couple guys crawling here. That's a torso, just kidding, he's dead. Hey, be scanning for heavy tanks.
All the way where I'm firing it.
32.
And we hear Marsh there saying, you know, making sure that we're scanning for heavy tanks because they are aware that they're going to have those come out as he notices a truck. See if they're able to get this one.
I lost. He's at 4. He's in the trees. You're not have a shot. You might be able to get him
Very
here.
excited, Francis, with the shout out.
Got it.
Hit him.
Good shot.
Good shot, Coop. There's tank coming down main road. Attack marker.
Okay.
You can already see these guys are on the ball with these pings on the map, making sure that the team knows exactly what's going on. Enemy tank coming down the middle road there into Foy. You can see here that the 7th just unrelenting on the push, and there's infantry sort of drifting up that middle of the map there, who are trying to really watch out and provide a screen just in case 21st push around.
I was just about to say we might have wanted to check in with Thunder there for a second in the recon tank. He was engaged with the Panther too, but really with the Greyhound, you're kind of just doing your best to soak up some infantry, maybe sneak a garrison, harass a tank. But in a one-on-one battle, you're not expecting to win those. So did a good job of holding his own there, and hopefully Marsh is able to get him. But you know, why don't we check in with some infantry here? Looks like Sasquatch is pushing the point as we go to contest. So let's check in with Sasquatch and see what he's got going on. Man, I gotta stop cursing these players. We'll stick with him and see where his OP is. Maybe we can catch him pushing into the point here. As I mentioned there, I saw it go contested for a second there. So looks like we might get some interesting moment here for the 21st to see if they're able to repel this initial pressure.
Definitely looks like 7 have chucked up a flare there as well on 21st point. It's going to give them a really good insight into the enemy infantry presence that's there, but 7th really creating a commanding presence across the map here, and we need to see something from 21st here in terms of armor, in terms of infantry cohesion, or things are going to look
Let's move to Francis really quick, Tritium. It looks like we got it's a very cinematic push here too. We got smoke already exploding in front of Francis as he pushes into the point here with his squad. This is very cinematic move, and it's working as they continually keep on this pressure.
MG up this way, MG up this way.
Yeah, so you can see Francis trying to gain a foothold here behind this house. He's going to be expecting infantry around the opposite side, and they need to be there, or they're not going to get this cap pressure inside the strong point. And it looks like 7th are really capitalising on that. 21st nowhere to be seen. 2-1 on the point, as you can hear there on the chat. Looking out into the woods, and he's not really seeing much. You would expect 21st to probably have a couple of spawn points at the very least. Try and reinforce, try and get some more bodies on the point, but they're getting knocked down as fast as they're popping up.
Oh my god, man, my aiming.
Great shooting here.
Hey guys, there's some back there. Fuck, man.
Fuck, Francis.
Yeah, my aiming is off, man.
I went down on my body, one pushing.
It's knocked out there. I think we got some action there on Marsh's perspective as Marsh gets taken out in the I think he was in the recon tank. Can't be sure.
I think he was in the medium there, but yeah, I did see him go down there. So it looks like they might be without a little armor support here as Marsh and Thunder are still rolling out. We'll keep an eye on that, on their progress up the map, and tune back in with them once they get moving. I guess we can stick with Francis here. He's got an OP just over the line, but it does look like between that bombing run and maybe some spawns that the 21st were able to get off, it looks like they did kind of get control back over that point, which I'm sure relieves a lot of stress on their side of things.
Certainly, it's probably a bit of a relief for them. They need to get something to start a foundation if they want to try and get this midpoint back, but already looking over at Thunder's perspective here, I can see they've got a heavy tank pushing up from the southeast. That's going to be a problem for 21st, especially if they manage to catch Panther or a Tiger off guard here, and no doubt 21st are going to be utilising the Panthers. I think a lot of these more sort of talented teams are really trying to stack as much armor as they possibly can, and once they get into a position where they've got maybe a couple of heavies and a supporting medium, it's really difficult to sort of dethrone these guys, I suppose. You can already see here if we switch over to the strat map really quick, we can see that 7th and the blue arrow here are really starting to push up on this left side. Really started trying to get a garrison up in this sort of area here, and we're going to see a big bit of pressure there on the west. And you'll see a lot of the time on these maps where the capture points are right on the border, it's really difficult for these teams to get a flanking position because they're looking at trying to get around the enemy, trying to encircle them, and obviously this map border is going to stop them from doing that, and it's practically open ground over there. So 21st are trying to sort of push out into this western area, and they're getting met by the 7th as they're coming around, as 7th start to exercise their trademark map control, and I think 21st are really starting to feel it here, and the noose is going to start to close in.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Easy. I was just about to note the same sort of thing with the map control. We're going to check in here with Fiji in just a moment, where it looks like his kind of squad is in a 2-man, and they're just kind of trying to control this main entrance to Foy and solidify this western flank for the team, especially in these dense building areas where you can hide a garrison fairly easily. So let's take a look at Fiji's point of view here and see what he's up to. And I did it again. So I'm sorry, guys. I am the commentator's curse is strong this stream here.
Are you dead?
We'll stick with him though and see what he's working on. But you can see here in his by where his OP is, or where this garrison is that he's just trying to cover this west side of the point. There's a lot of kind of nooks and crannies in that entrance to Foy where you can get a red zone garrison and try to build something out to the south. As you mentioned, Easy, the east side of the map, with it being the map boundary, you're really kind of stuck with coming from the west side here, and it looks like 7th is very aware of that and is dedicating infantry to make sure that is not going to happen.
You can see 7th sort of dotting a few pieces of infantry around these patches of trees here, and I think it's really powerful. There's only so many ways you can start to flank somebody on Foy, and when the armor's up, you know, it's impossible to cross those fields. And I think 7th are doing a really good job of getting a lot of map coverage, like we say, their map control. Anytime 21st are trying anything, whether it's an infantry push or trying to sneak a tank around, 7th are just sniffing it out straight away, and this is giving them the opportunity to push up and really capitalize, build garrisons, get the spawn points up. And honestly, we're starting to think, you know, the question is, where's 21st armor? They're going to need to get some tanks up here really quick. Things are going to start to look a little bit heated.
This is the time to do it as well. With you know, I'm just was checking briefly on Thunder and Marsh here, and it looks like Thunder is moved up quite a bit now. He's taken the railway. Let's join in with Thunder just very briefly and see what he's up to in the tank. It looks like he's pulled up on the east side of Dugout Barn, looking to make his presence felt.
Yeah, 100%, and you can see here that Thunder is obviously utilising the map and explaining to his squad exactly what he thinks going on. You can see that the 7th are trying to drop an airhead just on the northeastern side of that next point there, trying to sneak a few people in behind.
Yeah, Thunder and his crew, when I caught up with him this week, he was talking to me about how his squad is pretty tight-knit. They're called the French Connection in there, because all his crew is French-Canadian. So he was saying to me that all their tank crew usually plays together a lot, as you would expect for a tank crew. They are extremely competitive with the competitive side, and 7 takes their armor extremely seriously. So we saw them in the previous stream taking that middle point from HLLE. So this crew definitely knows what they're doing and is certainly a force to be reckoned with. Although I think at this point they're just kind of posting up, so maybe we can take a look at Sasquatch, who's got looking like he's going to spawn on the airhead here, Easy, to the northeast of the point. Going to establish maybe another push in that direction. So let's see him as he tries to spawn on this airhead.
See that the 7th managed to get a wave off there, and just as we were speaking, looks like 7th are getting a medium and a heavy coming out of their own spawn, just looking to further solidify that armor superiority.
Alright, Panther on Bobby.
Very risky airhead.
One here.
What is it?
It's right in the middle of the field, but luckily no machine gunners looking in that direction is able to get his OP in a little safer spot for his squad. Really important work being done there.
Yeah, I'm not in whites, damn it.
You can see the flare there, spotting a few of the 21st infantry dotted around the trees, but honestly, Sasquatch moving up here pretty much uncontested. You can see a set on mark there just in front for his squad to move up. Strafe run comes in, cap pressure starts,
I'm playing like a fucking bot, man.
Looks like 21st are fighting back a little bit, but that airhead's done its job. It's turned those 21st infantry around, and there's a little bit of a pressure coming from the northeast as well as from the south, and Sasquatch sadly goes down there as he's trying to get that push in.
Thankfully, he's got his OP right there, so he's able to keep his squad in this fight, and hopefully what they're able to do is take some attention away to the northeast and have those squads that have pushed up to the southwest able to pull some ground in here.
Fortunately, looks like we can see a lot of movement from the armor here. See that the heavy and the medium are about halfway there. When they arrive here in a couple of minutes, things are going to get pretty shaky for the 21st. Noticed that I think it was Francis managed to take down one of the 21st light tanks just a couple of moments ago, adding a bit of extra pressure, and this airhead is really just funneling infantry straight into the point.
Back down. I got my support.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I got it over here. I'm just standing by for my support.
Zai, Coops falling back to defense for you.
I want to switch down here to Francis. If we switch over to Francis's view, we're going to have some really interesting insight into the close quarters fighting that's going on here. Francis located just on the northeastern side of the strong point, getting him really close, whipping out the rocket here. Points contested, a lot of pressure. You can see here just tossing a few rockets out, hoping to potentially take out a spawn point, if not grab a handful of infantry while he's on his way.
Good momentum, guys. Good fucking momentum.
Yeah, keep capping.
Firing the troops there.
That's just pouring into the point.
Yeah, great pressure.
Gets a accidental team kill there, looks like, from a grenade.
Guys coming, they're west, they're west.
This is a very intense push here by
Lots of guys.
the 7th. Definitely a lot to deal with if you're the 21st in that point right now. You got to push out here and try to give yourself a moment to take out these spawns. But it does look like the MG is up and is very aware of where those guys are spawning. So might get a little bit more difficult to continue that pressure.
Oh, fuck me.
100%, and it looks like 7th managed to get a couple of outposts off that airhead, but the airhead obviously has now disappeared, and those outposts are getting a little bit more pressure, so that push from the northeast has given them the chance that they need. You can see there that there's a heavy tank from 7th just pushing straight into the strong point itself, still generating quite a bit of pressure.
I'm still here.
2-1 on the point, as you can hear there.
Maybe we can join in with Thunder here for a second. Looks like Francis might have lost his OP, but Thunder is under quite a bit of AT fire, it seems. And he is doing his best to maneuver his tank. He might be in the middle of the point here, now that I look at his map.
Yeah, I think that was a heavy tank we saw just a moment ago. They were referencing some muzzle flash that they were trying to recognise him a second ago. I think they were engaging with one of the 21st tanks. I would hope so, because we haven't seen much out of the 21st Armour here so far. Yeah, looks like that is Thunder pushing from the start of the point, although he doesn't have very much infantry support, so a few coming in from behind, but...
Smartly backing away with the lack of infantry support and making all the use in the world out of that coax.
Definitely, and from the conversation I had with 7th, I think it was just in the last couple of days or so, you know, they mentioned the focus that they've had on really trying to improve that infantry armor cohesion, with both 21st and 7th taking quite a fluid approach to how they support their armor. Just, you know, if you don't have your infantry around, you're going to get enemy bazookas sneaking up, you're going to get tanks paying more attention to the bazookas than they are to enemy armor. And you can see here that 7th exercising some of that caution as they wait for their infantry to catch up, but still some pretty heavy pressure on the map, as you can see. Looks like 7th are really pushing in from the west here, using that anchor, using that tank, sorry, as an anchor from the south to support some of their infantry.
Yeah. There's 2 benders.
We may want to switch over here to Fiji. Oh, commentator's curse there as he goes down straight away. I think a better one is probably going to be Sasquatch.
Yeah.
See Sasquatch sitting in the trench there to the north of the point, about 75 meters out. He's got a good viewpoint. He's looking up behind some infantry who are following up behind that Panther there that's pushing straight into the point.
I got AT behind me. I got eyes on the Panther. Thank you so much.
I got the AT.
See that Panther there kind of settling down.
One Panther's down. One Panther down.
I think he just popped.
Yeah, I'm hearing on comms. It looks like they popped the Panther, but Thunder is taking some. I think he might have taken a shot from that Panther before it went down because he's hurting a bit. I'm watching him on another screen here, so we can let's stick with Sasquatch here as looks like 7th is getting really close to potentially capturing this point.
What the hell?
There's a Panzer IV.
They certainly are, and Sasquatch showing off some of his skill here in positioning as he's able to work his way towards the northeast side of the point here, dodging bullets.
He's gone, don't peace check it.
Probing out, waiting for his infantry to catch up and support him, but it's 21st there, coming in at the moment, and it still looks like 7th getting the pressure.
Yeah, Marsh actually took out another Panther just then. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye, but it looks like they had 2 Panthers up to 21st, and both Panthers are down now. So Marsh is putting in some serious work in that 76.
They got off a pretty big spawn wave just east of
I did speak to Marsh actually about this after their match that they had against Hella Loose Elite. Obviously then they were playing the Germans, so I asked him what kind of considerations, extra considerations are taken when you're the Americans versus the Germans. So he says that, like we've seen the 7th do so well here, that they're very reliant on the infantry pings, or I guess more reliant on the infantry pings. So that increased awareness is especially important when you have Panthers with better reload speed and better mobility than you that can pop up at any moment. And obviously with your visibility being so limited, good infantry pings matter even more.
Point to set up a garrison?
Completely agreed, and I think these guys are really on point with that kind of stuff. You can see here if we switch over to Fiji's perspective, it looks like he's probing on outside to the west side of the point. This is the thing, this is what set these guys apart from a lot of these other teams, is the thoroughness of it. They're not letting 21st get any foothold behind the point. They're making sure that there's nothing, no residue that's left behind. Taking out his teammate there so he can pop down into another class, I imagine.
Yeah, probably moving their defense, like their roaming defense, up a point, because at that point it's really just going to be recon back there, and I'm sure that they're more concerned at this point with the infantry threat that might be mounting just outside the point, and it does look like that's what they're doing here, kind of maintaining that western flank defense. It looks like it's just Fiji and Steve over here, so definitely a formidable group that it would not be fun to encounter if you're the 21st on one of these flanks. Great kill there by Fiji.
Definitely, and it's one of these things that we've been told to watch out for is, you hear these certain players like Steve, like Backpack, who are really talented players, and they're good enough by themselves to hold off against squad after squad, and you really got to account for that kind of stuff. It's, you're playing against these kind of players, your entire play style completely changes. If it's someone like Steve, someone like Raz, you really got to watch yourself, really got to watch how you're using your cover. And we can see here, if we switch on over to, I believe it is Marsh's view here, we can see that Marsh has got the tank. I think he's spotted some enemy armor just there.
Oh,
quickly pivots around as he gets hit in the back.
I don't know what that was.
You can see these guys frantically searching around for the enemy armor.
Keeping that armor down especially when they're backed up like this, it becomes a much more difficult job, especially if their nodes have been up this whole time. You're able to pump tanks out of HQ quite quick when they're only having to drive this far. So these lives in these tanks matter a lot for the 7th.
Wait, whoa, what the fuck was that? That shot.
They certainly do, and from what I've seen so far, this heavy haven't. I think he might have lost once potentially, but these guys are doing a really good job of keeping these tanks alive. And something that the guys from the 21st mentioned is that the value in armor is obviously keeping them alive, and it's what you can accomplish in a life, because eventually a tank's going to draw enough attention, then it's probably going to get taken out. So the question is, what can you accomplish in this life? How much pressure can you maintain with this tank and get the infantry to support it before it finally gains enough attention to be taken out? But 7th really
He's behind. He's
taking
right behind
advantage
the
of this
building.
open ground here and making sure that they keep an
gonna have
eye
shot
out.
or
You can
not?
see the
No, he
commander
just died.
here.
He just died.
Obviously, Marsh
Okay.
is very, very observant, making sure that the tank's
wanna
got
know
a
what
good
hit us.
eye
I wanna know
around
what
what's
hit
going
us.
on. The last thing they want is for a bazooka to come sneaking
what
up
did they
on them.
take
But you
down?
can see here they're
They
positioned
destroyed something.
really just straight
Maybe
towards the
AT gun?
southwest of the point. If
Maybe
we
with all the
really
infantry up
quickly
there.
switch on over to
There
the
is
strat
infantry
map,
right here at 8.
Defense
Right,
needs to
dude,
be
I'm gonna
flares
start
anywhere
hammering.
you
we can
guys
see
go.
here
We're
that
getting
we've got
pinged. Let's go.
Marsh is sort of sitting the tank on this blue arrow here, and what that's doing is it's preventing 21st from even considering any kind of push out to this southwest, because if they do it, Marsh is going to see it. You can see here we've got a little bit of a contest here. If we go back to Marsh's perspective, it looks like they're getting shot by some AT that's kind of spotted them.
Yeah, I
Looks
see
like there's a
it.
tank
See the rubber band. Just keep pushing. It's
straight
gonna be
to their
behind this
northwest
haystack.
alongside some infantry. Looks like Marsh is handling this. A little bit of machine gun fire to try and distract those guys so that they potentially miss a shot, but
Yeah,
Marsh
all
is
those tank
not falling
pings.
for it.
All those tank pings right behind that little hut there too. So I'm sure that they're getting ready to just take a little peek
Slow
here.
down. Slow down.
Maybe
slow
see
down.
if they
It's
can get a
P4.
shot in.
338.
Say again.
See there, they spotted the enemy P4.
Just a P4.
Looks like they're on angle.
We just need that West Garrison.
First shot
P4
is
destroyed
down.
on main road.
Nice, beautiful.
Another tank down by the
Oh,
tank.
Lamb's right next to us.
They've lost Panther after Panther after P4 and light tank, and it's been a really
reverse
difficult
push.
job for these 21st armor as they've been working their way forward. And like we say, this map, when it comes to armor superiority, is probably going to be one of the biggest factors that's going to contribute to either a win or a loss. And you can see here 7th already getting pressure on the next point. We're half an hour into this game and they've steadily made their way up. It's been a
Oh, there was a Puma
calculated
behind
and
us. That killed us.
meticulous approach, and you can see here they've got a flare
go
just
push
to the
in.
northwest of the tank that's
pushing
not
straight in
only
point.
informing the infantry,
Infantry
but
left, light
letting them
infantry
know
left.
about any bazookas that might be
355.
trying to creep up, and immediately the tank's turret turning around to just
Oh, yeah, I
deliver
see,
death
I
and
see.
destruction onto this infantry
Right,
pushing across this field. And the
Just keep pushing.
pressure's starting to really get on here for the
Yeah.
21st.
I think I lived.
Pressure is what I'm seeing happen right here on the screen
They just rolled out
for
of Panther
Marsh.
middle.
It looks like the 21st
turning on the
is
left.
trying to get their
we see him?
infantry
He's at
back from the
331,
middle
331.
into the point, and they're
Yep,
moving
yep,
across the
yep.
field. And now this Panther
Oh, what the?
coming out of spawn.
Just fired, dude.
got eyes.
Before an S marker.
It was fucking
It
HE.
looks like this heavy
I know, just fired
Almost
in there.
did it.
suddenly popped
How
there.
did?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to deal with
Yeah.
that threat Panther straight out of the spawn, but it's not
Yeah.
stopping
Yeah.
the 7th Infantry.
Let's join in with Thunder. Was right behind Marsh there and saw him go down. Let's see if he's able to avenge his armored brother.
See a very close push here, and it's starting to look like
I don't think it's really gonna matter here.
look like a GG here.
Yeah, let's
Flooding into the strong point.
let's see Sass's perspective. It looks like this is a GG for the 7th.
Yeah, they've got
Wow.
some woods. Any infantry coming out there is just getting picked apart. And 7th really just demonstrating what these guys are capable of. I mean, they were probably the favourites coming into this match, but here they've truly just demonstrated what these guys can do. I think it was a combination of infantry, armour. There's some talented players that have really come out and just proven what these guys are capable of, and I think the win in the TPL was definitely deserved, playing against a tough team like HLE and managed to come out on top even after losing the midpoint. But here, capturing the midpoint right out of the gate and just tearing to pieces any of the armour that 21st was able to throw out there. And like we said, armour superiority usually is the foundation that any team can work upon to gain a win, and 7th really taking advantage of that here on a map that definitely favours a team that can wield really effective armour. So you combine that with 7th Infantry and looks like it's a GG.
You said it easy. Tritium, any final words for us today?
If I could interject really quick, I think actually we may have a second match coming up. I'm not entirely sure yet. Just trying to find out from intake of the 7th if that's going to take place.
A double header. What a treat.
Yeah, we are losing a few 21st here, it looks like. A few of them dropping out. I don't know if it's the burns that have, what it's like when you're doing burns, it's quite fatiguing, but as you can see here, we're we're losing, I think, players from both sides. They might stick on for a couple of friendly shoot 'em ups, but
Yep, I believe
looks like business has well and truly been taken care of.
I believe Intake is saying that that there won't be a second match.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate when, we probably could have had one if the burn situation wasn't so great, but wasn't so bad as it was today. But unfortunately, that's kind of what we have to work around when it comes to these productions and console hell let loose. So disappointing, but certainly this match was an exclamation mark on a fantastic beginning to the competitive scene on console.
Fully agreed. It's been an absolute pleasure casting this game with you guys here, and I hope everyone watching has enjoyed. Top level of Hell Let Loose competitive on console, and I think 7th have well and truly earned their place. Been a pleasure, guys.
Tritium, final words?
Yeah, great match between 7th and 21st. We definitely want to thank everyone who participated from the 7th for sharing their points of view. Definitely appreciated. Thank you, Caparzo. Thank you, Easy, for commentating. This has been a good one.
100%. Hope to see you next time.
Thanks, Tritium. I want to just reiterate a big thank you to those who offered their point of views and worked with me to get everything set up ahead of the stream. It really couldn't happen without everyone participating in these sorts of streams and production. So big hats off to you and congratulations.
All right. Till next time. See ya.
Yeah, you later.